welcome. I'm Jen, and on behalf of Vista Wellness Center, I am bringing you Fundamentals of Beginning Yoga, Lesson 2. So if you didn't get a chance to be with me for Lesson 1, that's okay. We will be reviewing and building on. You can also go to our library and check out that class. So it will always be there for you. All right, so beginning yoga, we start with simple yet effective practices. And they start with our breath. They also include our alignment of our spine and our bodies in certain shapes and poses. It includes activation of the muscles that help hold our structure in the shapes, and awareness, a sense of what we're feeling, of what's going on inside. And so we'll move through these points of interest as we move through our simple, effective practices. So, as always, you are welcome to modify this program in any and every way that you need to. So I'll just put out a couple ideas. A chair is a lovely thing to have, but if you are going to use a chair, you want to make sure that always at least 2 of the legs are on the non-slip surface. Personally, I really like to have all of the legs on the non-slip surface. Okay. You want to have a chair typically that doesn't have side arms, but it's okay if it's all you have. So you would use your chair to sit in and perhaps to do some of the practice in. You may also want to have some kind of block or book. Okay, these come in different materials and some different sizes, but typically they're about a 3 to 4 inch block. And this is helpful in things like when we fold forward to go to the floor. We could have our chair here, of course, if it's on the non-slippy surface, and some of us might be able to go further down with the hands on the blocks. So that's just one place where we may use them. And even if you can reach the floor with your hands, it doesn't mean that blocks can't be helpful. So the other thing is to have a blanket or a larger towel nearby so that if you need to use it to be warm at the end of class or to roll underneath your neck for more neck and head support, even to sit on and help elevate your hips. However, a larger pillow or bolster comes in handy for something like that. And why that's important, which we can move to a seated position next. So choosing your chair or your seat down below. For me personally, when I sit with my hips elevated, my knees are more relaxed as they move towards the floor in front of me. So I step you through these points and props because it's important to remain comfortable. Often we come to a yoga practice because something in us isn't comfortable. So we certainly don't want to exacerbate that discomfort. We want to create comfort, which then in turn creates a stability in the body. And it is from there that we can move into strengthening, flexibility, and some of the other amazing things that come with a yoga practice. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm sure you found a nice place to land. whether it's on your chair, maybe the edge of a bed. I guess I can also say real quick, if your feet don't hit the floor below you, if you're on the edge of a bed or a chair, you can put these blocks underneath your feet and that will elevate them. But again, you don't want your knees higher than your hips, just like you can see here, my hips are higher than my knees. So you would want to play with that and maybe even cushion the seat of your chair a little more. So trust me, as you move through your practice, you'll know better what you need and what you don't need. And it does change, sometimes daily. All right, so thanks for being here, and let's settle in. If you're comfortable, please close your eyes. If you'd rather keep them soft and like just kind of a little blurry in the gaze, you can do that. You can soften the eyes away from the screen, more importantly. And that will be the first connection to say, I'm letting go of the outside and I am moving inward for my practice. And now begin to reacquaint yourself with your friend, the breath. And that's how we will begin feeling and maybe hearing how we are breathing. Notice if you can feel any pauses or stumbling points as you breathe in and out. Does the breath get caught anywhere? Does your mind reel away from your current activity? What happens? The mind does wander, and that's okay. This is practice. As soon as we become mindful that our mind has wandered away from being focused on the breath, we simply send the invitation again. Hello, mind, will you please come back and be with me in my body with my breath? And as you can settle into feeling yourself breathe in this moment, you can then begin to make your breath fuller. And it's not by adding more effort, it's by keeping an ease of the breath, but to actually make it deeper from deep inside, where the diaphragm does the natural work for the contents of the abdomen to expand on inhale. The diaphragm returns underneath the rib cage that then lets the belly softly drop back down. So we are expanding on the inhale and contracting on the exhale. We're allowing the breath to be full so that it can fill our lungs to capacity without straining. And we're allowing the breath to exhale completely and eliminating from the lungs. If it helps, you can say to yourself, breathing in, breathing out, or inhale, exhale. Good. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. And again, always feel free to look beyond the screen. And notice how you feel. A very important quality to the yoga style that I teach in is paying attention to how you feel. So there will be lots of pause in this lesson for that. We can't really move into a dynamic, deep vinyasa type flow where we link a lot of postures together because we're just beginning. And it always begins with the breath and the awareness of the self in the moment. So let's look at alignment a little bit. And we'll do that moving into the cat and cow pose. So we're going to come off of our seat. And if we're on a chair, we can come to hands and knees, and we can use that blanket or towel underneath knees or ankles, or not at all. So I'm going to leave that prop choice up to you. And in table position, this is one of the very fundamental poses and shapes of a yoga practice. You want to make sure that your fingers are spread and that you're pressing evenly down through your hands. Your wrists are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. Now, we do not want to change the natural curvature of the spine. We want to begin to strengthen around it and also be flexible with awareness. So we have the alignment. We're going to start to activate as we are able by pressing the tops of the feet and the shins into the mat. Press those hands away from the mat and feel the contact of your body to the space below you. On an inhalation, start to lift your tailbone and your chest, curving the spine. When you exhale, tuck the chin and the tailbone and change the formation of the spine. Follow the rhythm of your breath. So as long as it takes you to inhale into the arch, that is your inhalation. And as long as it takes you to exhale, that is your hunch. So very slow and precise, adding on here. Okay, so next, when you exhale and tuck chin and tailbone, begin to bring a little bit of awareness to your abdomen and squeeze it in. Then when you inhale, let the natural expansion take place in the abdomen and arch. Exhale, squeezing in. If you are pregnant or have had recent surgery in the abdomen or close to that area, you can let go of doing the squeeze, and we can talk further about this type of work. But it would also be good to reach out to me beforehand if you have any condition that you think I should know about. Letting go that last time, if you are able, you can sit on your heels, and this is where you could bring one of your props to sit underneath if you can't make it down. Good. Let's come to standing. So find a safe way to do that, maybe simply stepping one leg forward. And be aware as you move. Good. So we'll come up to standing. We'll feel our feet grounded on the floor below us. We'll feel our legs active without gripping anywhere, so that we are in a mountain pose alignment with the toes pointing forward, knees pointing forward, hips, chest, chin, and smile all pointing forward. And we roll these wrists and we circle these elbows and we roll and circle the shoulders. So however that looks for you will probably be different than how it looks for me. So we're just moving into the space around us. Let your head and neck come into it. Stay connected to your breathing. Let your hands come to rest, and then put them on the hips. Lift up and rotate the left ankle, but let your mind be aware that you are rotating your left ankle and feel what that feels like. This is a good place to hold onto your chair if you need to, or step closer to your wall. But here's the thing, in order to be able to stand on one leg, muscles have to be acting and reacting to your request. So this is part of the activation, okay? Active in the muscles, but then with practice, we start to awaken an energetic alignment. Let's try the other side. So when the mind can be linked to the movement and the breath, we start to go a little deeper. Good, then that foot comes down, both knees bend, they can touch, and circle the knees. Circling, even feel that in the ankles and feet. And then bring it up, step the feet a little bit further apart and circle the hips. This is another place where you can pay attention to your abdomen, and you can exhale and squeeze a little bit. And then step even wider and start to swing. Look in the direction of your arms as they wrap around you. Deepen the type of squat you're performing or the lengthening away. Make it your own. Tip over like me if you're not balanced. All right. And then just move a little bit more, shaking it out and shimmying it around, and then we'll stop and we'll feel. Most of us were probably holding our breath, and that's okay. You're going to have lots of opportunity to hear me say, please breathe, and you'll catch on. Actually, a good thing to do, like during the day, you can set a timer and you can check in with yourself every couple hours. How am I breathing? Am I breathing? How can I breathe better? All right, so let's get into some classical poses, okay? The Hatha Yoga, the classical postures or asanas that are handed down for thousands of years. And there will always be room for modifying, and there will always be room for suggestions from you to help meet your needs. So please don't forget that part of the component. So if you have a block or even a book, which is a little bit heavier, but you can try it, you're going to stand with this alignment in mountain pose, and you're going to notice that I'm fairly straight and my hips aren't back or forward, that I'm really trying to find this mountain, right? Stable at the bottom, building up. Bending my knees a little bit so that I can place the block between my thighs. And some people, put it a little bit wider. This is good for me today. Then we'll be pressing, even if you don't have a prop, that's okay. You can still do this. It's just the prop gives more expressive feedback. Press into the feet and squeeze your block. Don't hold your breath, and bring your arms up on the inhale and lower on the exhale. Okay, just like the pattern of the table pose and cat-cow. We inhale, and however long it takes us to inhale, is the space that we move in with our arms, and however long it takes us to exhale is where we move through the arms. Let's continue. Inhale. And exhale. And your pace is probably different than mine and other participants. So again, make it your own. One more time, lifting out and up and lowering down. Sun breath arms. Now, when you are ready, lift your arms up towards your ears. Keep the tops of your shoulders drop down. Activate the muscles of your feet, your legs, into your low belly. And it's firm without gripping and without holding your breath. So it usually doesn't look like much, but there's so much going on. But we try to approach it with ease and comfort. Foundation of all the standing postures here, mountain pose. Let's give ourselves a nice shoulder and chest stretch by taking the right elbow bent. That hand goes behind the head, maybe even down a little further, depending on your flexibility. The other elbow bends, and we begin to move our hands towards each other without losing all of the engagement activation that you created in this alignment. Okay. And then we come to that third A, awareness. Breathe and feel. If there is pain, move away from the position. If there is holding breath, pull away from the position a little bit. Release. And I'll show you that from behind. We're going to lift up the left arm. There's length in the side of my body. There's length in the arm. It stays pretty lengthy there in the side body, even though the elbow is bending. And to help you not fall forward or hunch back, you want to gently press your back into your hand into your back, and then check in here. Deepen the breath. Feel free, if the fingertips touch, to touch them. Feel, get acquainted with your body here. Breath is smooth, deep. Release. Roll the shoulders back and down, interlace the fingers and press them down. Still not losing that lovely posture, alignment, and engagement. And then let the palms float. If you have been using your block that whole time, awesome. If not, awesome too. I'm going to go ahead and put mine down. And we're going to pause and feel. Good. Let's move into Crescent Moon. So we're going to bring up the right arm and we'll lengthen almost as though we're lightening the upper body and staying firmly grounded through the low body. And we'll lean to the left, keeping our balance, but pressing the hip to the side. So if you were gonna do a little hip, you might even wanna try this. You wanna get the hip involved without losing your stability. So up and over. Always checking in with the neck to feel if it wants a different position or movement. Maybe you have to press a little more into the right foot when you lean left, and then begin to observe this side of the body with your mind's attention. Next inhale, rise up, and let the exhale help you lower your arm down. A variation of this might be second side. We'll rise up together. And I'm just giving you these options because I'm not sure who all is watching right now. I want to make it as accessible to everybody as I can. That's why looking at the screen isn't as helpful as listening to your body. You can look at it to see the shape, but every single body is lovely and amazing on its own, and they will never look the same. If you tried it with your arms up overhead, you could probably feel that brings a more dynamic quality into it. And then go ahead and lower down. Great. Moving on from mountain, crescent moon, and now standing squat. So we will inhale and bring our arms out in front, and then we'll exhale, low arm down. Inhale, lengthen hands to hips. Exhale, bend the knees and squat. Inhale, lengthen, lift the arms. Exhale, hands to hips, bend the knees. Exhale, squat. Continue this way. Inhale and exhale. Now, what is different about this squat than some other ones that you may have practiced or seen is that we are sending the hips back and trying to keep the knees in alignment with the ankles, definitely before the toes. So we want to see those toes. Okay, keep going. So really, if that chair was behind you, this is the shape your body would make to sit in it. You're going to want to be looking forward. I'm just looking towards you. And then decide if you want your arms out in front or at your hips. Don't lean forward or fall back. Try to keep pretty upright here. There is a little curve in the back. Ground down through the feet and legs. Activate as many muscles that you can feel in your belly without holding your breath. And feel, and breathe. Chair pose, victory squat. Feel what it's doing for you. And then start to slowly lift and release. Good. So we move through the foundation standing mountain, the side opening, spreading crescent moon, and the strengthening chair squat. Let's take some of that energy and heat that we have been building and spread it out a little bit. So please straddle the long end of the mat, open the arms wide, shining star. Use that chair if you need to. From here, let's bring the hands to the hips. That just helped us move out into that space and get active and feel whatever distance we're going to be expressing at. Hands come to the hips. Now the right toes lift and turn to the right. That knee bends and straighten. Now this left foot needs to turn in just a little bit. And you might be different, depending on your makeup. And then you can look in the direction of that bent knee and bend. And like in chair squat, we want to stop above the ankle, still able to see the toes. So you might find that your stance is too narrow and you want to open, but don't lose the activation. And if you're breathing comfortably, open those arms. Remember, diaphragmatic breathing, not just chest breathing. Lengthen through those fingers and arms. Turn the palms skyward. Let the wrists get a nice little stretch here. Let go of those typing fingers and scrolling fingers. Wiggle them around here. Gaze is over the fingertips, and the alignment here, the hips are forward, the chest is forward. It's the neck that turns. Letting go there, coming through the middle, that right toes turn in. You can lift the heel or the toe. Second side, swing those right toes in a little bit, if they will. You definitely want to be comfortable and no pain in the knees. And often it's said that this left heel would be in line with the right inner arch. And again, these are pretty picky technicalities, but if your body can go there comfortably, try it. And if not, we'll just make some adjustments. There is a tendency to want to turn towards that bent knee. Let's not do it, but let's find the place to land. Arms open, soften the gaze over the fingertips, deepen the breath. Power in the legs. Full, smooth, deep breath. Turn up, let go of the texting and scrolling and writing fingers. And return to center. This time, we will close those legs to hip distance apart and stand with our hands on our hips and feel. Good. Let's face the short end of the mat. And this is for those who can get up and down off the floor easily. So you may want to bring your blocks or chair back over, but I'm going to show this to you without my props so you can see how my body mechanics work to support me. So this would be an okay time to look at the screen. Bringing your arms up by your ears. We really come down through chair squat again. So we actually meet ourselves in mountain, we meet ourselves in chair, and then we continue to move towards the ground. Now for me, I'm healing from an ear injury infection. So my modification is to not get dizzy. So I'm going to go ahead and work the best I can here, bending my knees deeply. Do you see? I can get my hands closer to the floor. When my legs are straight, I can tripod my fingers only. That's not supportive. So I would, in my own practice, bring in a block, and we don't have to straighten our legs, but we are eventually moving towards gaining flexibility. So like we did with warrior and chair, we bend the knees deeply and we start to straighten them. And I say start to straighten them. And we don't lose connection with our breath. My chin is tucked, so my neck is long. Good. The next time you can bend those knees, you're going to bring them down to the mat. And then you're going to come back to table, hello, and the smooth flowing breath. And you're going to shift some weight back And then you're going to bring some weight forward without putting any strain on the body. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. And then when you're forward, holding it, start to send your knees back so they're not aligned with your hips anymore. Bring your chest forward, bend your elbows, and lower yourself in a safe way down. We'll be exploring a lot about push-ups in the future. But for now, we're just learning how to safely make our way to the mat. We bring our arms to stack, our toes turn out, and we rest our head on our forearms. Crocodile Pose. Feel your smooth, deep breath. Easy to feel the contact of the abdomen on the mat below you. And really easier, I think, to get aware of the core. So as we're here, it won't look like much on the outside, but what I'd like you to begin to explore is gathering attention and energy in the pelvic floor muscles and trying to squeeze them in and up. You'll feel an engagement in the glutes probably, but don't just let it be glutes. And then press the pelvic bone into the mat, but more importantly, the low belly. You can even feel the fronts of the groins and the legs. Feel as much as you can and then let it go. So big breath in and then exhale, try again. And don't hold the breath, just like we were syncing breath and movement, we're exhaling to engage. Inhaling to release. Good. The next time you are engaged, turn or activated, because that's the word I started with. We're going to turn the tops of the feet down and point through the toes. Lifting the head and chest, bend the elbows. And now align yourself so that your elbows are under your shoulders, your fingers are spread, and you're pressing firmly into the mat and also away from it. So in that way, you're not collapsing the weight of your body down into that mat. You're trying to lighten and press away. Let this press away and inhale help to lengthen your spine. Make sure your chin isn't lifted and the back of the neck is constricted. Breathe and feel, strengthening your back, strengthening your chest, your respiratory system, and giving that spine flexibility. Good. From here, lower down the head a little bit. Slide those hands towards your chest. The elbows are going to lift. Now you're squeezing them towards your chest and you're starting to push up and back to table. And then you're going to slip yourself down onto a hip and make your way into your reclined position on your back. So please go down slowly, carefully. Use whatever props you need. Maybe even keep your knees bent as you go down. And all the while, when your breath is smooth and even, the body's going to stay calm and relaxed, and that's one of our intentions. Let's bring those feet a little closer to the heel, to the buttocks. Lift and spread the toes, press them back down. Feel the parts of your body making contact with the support below you. And let's the right foot into the mat. Pull in our left knee, keeping the shoulders down. Hug below the knee or behind the thigh. And then lengthen your right leg and press through that heel. Toes are pointed up. Feel the alignment of the shape of your body. Feel the muscles that are activated, no need to name them. And be aware of yourself in this position, breathing, present in the moment. Maybe you can even feel the belly moving towards the thigh. You also want to feel the back broaden into the mat. Let go. Let that foot make contact. Bend the other knee. Exhale, engage as much of the muscles that you could when you were belly down. Hug the knee in. Straighten the leg, put it down. And this might be a nice place to close your eyes. This pose is wind relieving, and it does help us to move any kind of air or gas through the body. It aids in our digestion and in the release of the low back and hips. Good. Let the hands go. Foot comes to the mat. Other foot comes in. Arms can rest alongside the body, and feet and knees can open. The outsides of the feet might meet the outsides of your mat edge. And then with control, you let the knees drop side to side. Let this movement lead you into any other movements that you feel would support you for closing the movement part of your practice. So we're starting with simple, effective techniques and poses, and we'll be building on as we go. But it is now coming time to close this class. So finish up those movements that feel right for you. You may even know that you want to grab your blanket or towel for under your head or over your body. And you're going to stay, and I'm going to roll myself slowly up to seated. And make sure that you have moved your body in the ways needed before you take that final position, which we'll get into much more as we move on, the corpse position, when the legs are outstretched, the arms are outstretched, and as little or as much support as needed. Because again, we want to be comfortable. soften or close your eyes. Feel your diaphragmatic breathing as you are present in this moment. May your inhale feel nourishing and your exhale feel relaxing. Let your posture in corpse feel supported as you start to soften and let go into the space holding you, below you. Letting go of the muscle activation and being aware of how you feel as you breathe and rest. As we release stress and tension with our movements and our breath awareness, we can increase more internal awareness and connection with ourselves, therefore listening and filling in where we might be in need. Beginning to access awareness of the inner space of the body. If the mind tries to tune out, dial it back in and breathe, feel, relax. Please stay here as long as you are able. And for those who want to move on, you can begin to wiggle through your fingers and toes and take your time, moving through your hug of appreciation. Whether you're still on your back or side or moving towards seated, don't forget this very important shape, the hug asana. And even still in that corpse pose, you can stay or bring your palms together at the center of your chest and gently bow with respect to yourself in honor of your practice.